Welcome to Afternoon Express. So today we're going to channel your inner sparkle and unpack how to start your day on the right foot. Dentist Dr. Shabalala will show us easy steps to sparkling teeth, and Tumi's going to do some morning stretches and make delicious on-the-go muesli bars. Yes, we have everything to put the spring in your morning step. But first, let's start the show. So we've all experienced those mornings where everything seems to go wrong. The alarm doesn't go off, the coffee spills, and we can't find our favorite shirt. So it's on these days that we might exclaim, I definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But what does this old saying actually mean? So joining us in the loft to unpack this topic is Dr. Justin Cohen. Justin, welcome back to Afternoon Express.
Thanks, C. Great to be here. You look like you woke up on the right side of the bed this morning.
I did. I had good sleep.
Well, there you go.
So, is that true? Can one wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Because I have to say, I've had days where I've had good sleep and I went to bed in a good mood, and then I wake up and everything feels like, I don't know, like I just experienced an earthquake.
Yeah, and I think a good question to ask yourself at that point is, what am I feeling and why might I be feeling this, right? And it's going to be different for different people. But the way I see it, we've got 5 main reasons why you're going to wake up feeling like you got on the wrong side of the bed. And it goes back, right, to how you went to bed, right? I mean, if you don't have a good pre-sleep ritual that gets you nice and calm and at ease, well, you may well find yourself not sleeping properly. You could have insomnia, or you might even feel that you slept, but just the quality of your sleep wasn't great.
Yes.
You know, you can't park a Ferrari at 250 k's an hour, right? You've got to slow it down, right? And so, you know, turning off those electronic gadgets half an hour before bed, a bit of relaxation, meditation, something like a warm bath. The ritual is really, really important. So, yes, the quality of our sleep is largely going to be determined by what we do before we go to sleep. And the fact that we got enough sleep, right? So, I mean, did we actually get enough sleep, or did we stay up all night, you know, watching television, right?
You know what I love about you being here, Dr. J, is that you always have these frameworks that makes things easier and puts it into steps. So I just want to acknowledge that. Thank you for that. So research says that apparently employees that start the day in a bad mood, hence not having had good sleep, it shows that that kind of mood and energy transfers right through the day. Is that true?
Well, yes and no, because it's up to you whether that happens or not. So, of course, if you start off the day and you're not in a great mood, that can well carry on through the day. But we all know that we can snap out of a mood as well. Now, look, of course, if you're dealing with a major loss, that may not even be appropriate. You might need to actually go through that process. But if it's just that you're feeling uncomfortable, you didn't sleep that great. You see, even we spoke of these 5 reasons. Yes, you've got what happened the night before. Maybe you didn't have a great night's sleep, right? That's a second reason why you might not wake up feeling all that great. But how do you respond to that? Right?
Yes.
So we don't choose everything that happens, right? You might have had some crazy traffic going on, or a neighbor making some noise, and then you wake up feeling frustrated, resentful. Yeah, okay, that happened because of something outside your control. But how do you respond to that, right? This is the meaning of the word responsibility. It is the ability to respond. So we can either, you know, throw ourselves to, you know, our fate and say, well, it's just going to be one of those days. Or we can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make a choice to change this. And that's the power that we all have.
Oh, I love that. But I want to ask you this. Often when we're in a bad mood, we don't always know that we're in a bad mood, right? Other people speak about us being in a bad mood, or they accuse us of being in a bad mood. So I want to ask you the simple yet difficult question. How does one know that they've woken up on the wrong side of the bed, or they've woken up in a bad mood?
Yeah, so this is one of the fundamentals of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. Right? And you're quite right that we can find ourselves in a state without really being conscious of it. And here's the thing, you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Yes.
Right? Yes. The first step to shifting is knowing that you're not in the most ideal state, right? And so this is a process, we actually call this interoception. So we've got perception, which is what's going on outside, and then interoception, which is what is going on inside. How am I feeling right now? Yeah, and those feelings are made up of two things. They're bodily sensations. You know, this is the thing about emotion sounds like this kind of, you know, intangible, kind of ephemeral state, but actually emotion is rooted in the body. So what is going on in my body right now? When you're feeling down, we talk about feeling down, your body actually has a heaviness about it. Or I'm feeling buoyant, you feel this lightness, right? So we want to get in touch with these physical sensations, but they are also linked to thoughts, and this is critical. This is, I would say, the most powerful way we have to shift out of any state is through our thoughts. There's always a thought attached, right?
Yes.
Because if you take excitement and anxiety, they actually have very similar physiological state, right? You might have the butterflies and the little bit of energy and tingling. Racing heart.
Yeah.
Well, that can either be yay or can be right? So what is the interpretation that we give to those bodily sensations? And that's how we can actually start that process of transformation.
Okay, so you're coming on to the show later again to tell us about how-to frameworks. Give me just one little teaser of how to acknowledge the emotional state that you are in at that moment, that bodily state.
Well, as you know, Z, I do like a good acronym. So I'm going to give you an acronym, and we'll start with the first step. So this acronym is called ACT. And although there's 3 letters, there's actually 4 steps, and we'll see why that is later.
Okay.
But the A stands for awareness. Right? That is where it all begins, and it's waking up and saying, okay, where am I at right now? And from there, we decide whether there's some shift that we need to make or not.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Well, it's clear that how we start our day has a huge impact on the rest of our day. So stay tuned, because Dr. J will share a few tips on how to find a routine that works for you to help you start your day on the right foot. On social media, we'd like to know from you, so fill in the blank. When I wake up, the first thing I do is, and remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express. We'll see you in a bit.
Express yourself.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
So for me, it's always been about the people. Regardless of what industry you're in, it always comes down to the people, and the people that you work with and the people that you serve. So within this community, it is a lower LSM group. However, the people are genuine, they're real, they come and they celebrate each other. The community often comes just for a chat, just for a conversation. So some of them are quite lonely, and they just literally come here to spend some time with other people that they could relate to. Very often customers can't afford to go and see a doctor, so they trust us enough that whatever advice we give them, that they're willing to go with that. I think at Danmed Pharmacy, we're not just a pharmacy, so we are offering that extra service. We'll go out of our way to make a patient happy. If we don't have something available, we'll bend over backwards to try and get it for them. We don't just have a pharmacy here on the premises, we've also got our sister's clinic, we've also got a doctor, we've also got a dentist, as well as a physio. And some extra add-ons that we've also tried to include just to make it convenient for our community is we also do ID photos, we've got an internet cafe, we do printing, laminating, and also ear piercing.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Suffering from a blocked or runny nose, body aches, congestion, pain, and fever. Today, be brave in the face of colds and flu. Use Corenza Para-C. Corenza Para-C. Relieve cold and flu symptoms this winter. Corenza Para-C. Proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Welcome back. Ladies, if you want to sparkle and be glamorous this season, then you are in luck, as pro makeup artist Rishana Isaacs is in the loft to show us how easy it is to make your beautiful faces glow. Rishana, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Zuleida.
Your face is all in glow and beautiful, and I take it you did that, right?
Of course.
Okay, great. So tell us what you're doing with Ash.
So today I just want to talk about the importance of your skin glowing underneath your makeup. I feel like that's what the sparkle is all about today, is if your skin is glowing underneath your makeup, that is when your makeup actually looks like skin. So I'm using a face highlighter, the liquid highlighter that you would put on your cheeks just to highlight a small part of the face underneath the entire face.
Okay, so I just want to take it a step back. You've done half of Ash's face and you're now doing the second half, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you believe that a glow is important to make you feel good. I have to agree with that. 100%. I find that I don't usually wear makeup unless I'm working, but I find that a great hack to feeling good, especially when I wake up in a bad mood, is to wear some makeup. I always find that it's a lovely pop of, I don't know, energy or vibrance, yes.
Definitely. This is something I need to do every morning just to make myself sparkle.
Yes.
But what
so
I love...
you put that on before the foundation, right?
Before the foundation. And you can see that she had blemishes there, but the illuminator kind of just reflects all of that. So you can actually put on so much less foundation. Because I think that a supernatural skin is what makes your makeup look so beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't need to wear a lot of makeup to sparkle.
Yes. I love the eyes as well.
Yeah, I think that matching your eyes to your outfit, it's just everything.
That's nice to know. Is that a hack, a makeup hack? Match your eyes to your outfit.
Yeah, it just gives a bit of some extra, you know? But what I'm doing now is I added the foundation on top of the liquid illuminator. And now I'm just adding the highlighting concealer underneath the eye. And then I'm going to contour the skin, and then we're going to add the powders. And you're going to see that the skin is still... She has a full face of glam here, but it's still glowing. It still looks like skin.
Take me through how you would speak to someone who doesn't ever use makeup. Like, where do they start without feeling overwhelmed and nervous?
So I actually do one-on-one makeup lessons with beginners, like people that haven't even touched makeup. So we sit down, I do the one half of the face, they do the other half, and we basically just do a full glam makeup look so we can go through every single step of the makeup routine. She learns every single technique. And once you actually know the technique, it's so easy. Like, my client leaves there and she's like, how did I do the one side myself, but it looks like your side? It's actually just learning the technique and practicing, and it's become so simple.
Can you give us some of those techniques for the viewers that are at home, that are not joining you in your masterclass? Like, just some tips for them, please.
Yes, definitely. So, face powder. Don't powder all over. It's super important just to powder underneath the eye to set that concealer, next to the nose and top lip, because ladies, if you're shiny there, it looks like you're getting hot and bothered. So just next to the nose and top lip is the only place that you really need to powder. If you do get oily on the T-panel, then powder there. And then I see this mistake very often. People put the blush on the apples of the cheek, and what that does is it really drags the face down. No, it really drags your face down. So it's actually quite high up here. This is where you want to place your blush.
So that's on the cheekbone?
On that cheekbone. Look what it does to that cheekbone.
So that whole thing with you smiling and then doing the apples of your cheek is what, 1970s?
Oh, yeah. I feel like my mom used to do that back in the day. So we're going to add some highlight.
And that also goes on the cheekbone?
On top of that blush. Just marry the two.
Okay.
Add some highlight, and then we're going to finish off with some extra sparkle. We can't forget some gloss.
Why do you like a glowy makeup personally?
Because if the makeup is glowy, I feel like it looks more like skin.
Okay.
The more
so it looks
mattified,
more natural.
The more mattified the skin looks, the more cakey, and it just looks like you're wearing way more than you are. So glowy all the way.
Okay, I love that. And then I have to ask you as well, because I know that with makeup, like with fashion, makeup goes in trends. What are the latest trends when it comes to makeup at the moment?
Underpainting. So
underpainting. Okay, that's complete gibberish to me. What does that mean?
So basically what you do is you do your highlighting and contouring underneath the foundation. So you would do your concealers and then really chisel out and define the features, and then just do a light washer foundation. And it looks amazing, but it's a lot of work.
Okay, so that's not the simple way.
Yeah.
This is the simple way. Take us through it again.
Way.
It's the illuminating foundation glowy cream first, followed by your foundation. And then your under-eye concealer.
Yes.
And then your blush. That does not go on the apples of your cheek. It goes on your...
Up there.
Okay. And then what?
And then some highlighter. And you're done.
Yes. How do you feel?
Good.
I love that. Well, there you go. Just like that, by following these few steps, you'll be able to bring out your inner glow.
I don't wear makeup a lot, but I have to say that sparkly makeup looked gorgeous. But from faces to breakfast, what is the one breakfast item that makes you rise and shine in the mornings? For most people, it's oats that is usually served doused with dairy and a little bit of sweetness. But what if lactose intolerance interferes with adding a sparkle to your morning routine? Well, we're about to show you how you can enjoy a creamy bowl of oats 2 ways without feeling any type of discomfort, thanks to Clover Nolac Full Cream Fresh Milk. Friend, I don't want to go too far. Save oats 2 ways.
Oats 2 ways, and I'm so glad I'm on Savory Station because for breakfast, I actually don't enjoy eating breakfast. I usually eat leftovers for breakfast. So this is a cool way that I can still get that savory vibe in a breakfast bowl. And I'm so excited to show you. So I've already got my onions and my garlic sauteing in the pan.
This is interesting. I've never heard of savory oats.
You better get into it too, because it's wonderful. So we've got that already cooked down for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to go straight in with our oats. This is about 3/4 cup. And this is giving me risotto vibes. I don't know about you.
That's exactly what I'm thinking right now, because I've never ever thought to use oats in a savory manner, and I've also never thought to cook my oats in this way. But I get the concept of what you're trying to go for. But let's see. Let's wait and see.
So we're toasting it with the onions, and this gives the oats a nice nutty, savory note. And then we're going to set that aside, and then I'm just going to add a splash of water first, just a little bit, just to get that going. And then if you can pass over the Clover Nolac lactose-free fresh milk to me, and then I'm going to pour this in. So this is really going to get those oats singing and cooked yummy and smooth. Now, obviously, this is a savory application, so I'm not going to get them all the way soft. I'm going to get them really, really nice and crunchy and still a bit of al dente, I
get you. Okay, so maybe I should move on to my oats then, because while that's cooking down, you've added your savory ingredients. You're just going to let it cook down for a bit, right?
Yes.
So it's sort of almost similar to what we're doing here. So we're making our sweet oats, and into my pot, I'm also going to be adding our Clover Nolac lactose-free fresh milk. And that, as we all know, we've mentioned that the Nolac milk is great for people that struggle with lactose issues, right? So Clover Nolac Full Cream Fresh Milk is a lactose-free milk that gives you all the dairy goodness you need, such as calcium and vitamin C. So free yourself from the side effects such as bloating that comes with being lactose intolerant with Nolac.
When we talk about starting your day on a good footing, I think that's excellent. You know, you're getting all of your calcium, and if you're someone who you know, is lactose intolerant, this is a great way to start your morning, because you don't have to spend the rest of the day feeling bloated and uncomfortable. So I'm still going to cook this down further to me, but now I already have a bowl that I've cooked. So let me just show you the texture that I went for here. So you know, if you wanted it a bit looser, you could definitely add a bit more Clover Nolac just to get it a bit smoother. But I like it a bit chunkier. It's just a bit more robust, because I find in that way I just automatically feel a little bit fuller. But you can see how it's starting to cook down here, and it's, I'm smiling.
Like you said, because of the type of oats you're going for with the savory, you still want to maintain that bit of a bite in it, because you don't want that too much of a porridge consistency.
Exactly.
But I do see what you're going for. So still nice and nutty, and you're adding the toppings.
So I'm adding the toppings. So I've got some sauteed mushrooms over there. I've got some sauteed spinach that I'm also going to add. And then I'm going to go with, you know, your usual breakfast items, I think. So we're going to go in with a bit of avo, some soft-boiled eggs, which I absolutely love, and then just a topping of spring onion, and always for breakfast with me, usually acha, but I'm going to go with a little bit of hot sauce just over the top, just to add a bit more flavor.
I like this option because a lot of people also tend to say, I don't like sweet stuff in the morning. So this is a great alternative to the sweet oats, which is what I'm making, to have a savory oats with all the protein and all the goodness you need just in a savory application. We're back onto the sweet oats here, which is still cooking. And obviously, because we want to impart as much flavor into it and make it still nutritious and tasty, I'm going to be adding a bit of chia seeds that are going to cook with the oats while it thickens up.
Amazing.
And then for that additional flavor, I'm just going in with a bit of vanilla essence, as well as some cinnamon. For me, I've found that oats and cinnamon go very well together. And then just for that additional sweetness, some people add their sweet while it's still cooking. For me, I like to add it at the end. But I found that when you cook it with the oats, it actually absorbs wonderfully into the oats itself. So I'm going to add my honey and just let it dissolve with everything here. And then as we letting it cook down, obviously, however long you like to let your oats cook, you want to give it about 5 minutes, let it cook, and it comes out, obviously, like your oats as you would have it. But I'm also going to top mine as well.
Let's see what you got.
Yeah, so I'm going to be going with a bit more crunch with our almonds over there. And then because we put some chia seeds in there and they've absorbed and they're like softer, I still want the texture.
Love that.
Yes. So we're still going to do a textural element with some of our chia seeds on the top. And then finishing it off with some sunflower seeds. If you want to, you could also toast these up just for additional nuttiness. And then drizzle some honey over this. And fresh fruit really works well in this kind of application. So I'm going with some strawberries, some blackberries, some blueberries, whatever berries you've got. Just get in that kitchen. Discover how you can still enjoy dairy by being lactose-free. You can get the full recipe on afternoonexpress.co.za. Cheers.
Cheers, Ben.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolax range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.
Welcome back. Now, maintaining good dental health and oral hygiene is essential for overall well-being. But how do you keep your teeth sparkling and your oral health in top shape? To give us some tips, we've got dentist Dr. Tumi Shabalala in the loft. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you so much.
You've got beautiful teeth.
Oh, thank you.
Have you always taken care of your teeth? I have to know that.
I actually genuinely have, and I say every dentist has a dentist.
Tell us, what is oral hygiene?
So oral hygiene, it refers to the maintenance of your teeth and your gums, right? So anything within your mouth, it refers to that. So it's inclusive of you just like flossing. Yes. Every day, twice a day, and also just like brushing your teeth every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it refers to that.
So flossing's a big one, right? Because a lot of us don't do that.
Yes.
I'm a lazy flosser.
So I must say, I think we have improved. So there are these other ones. It's almost like a stick, which I think is so much easier.
I have that.
Than if you've got that long one, it's a string. So that one is so nice because you can just sit and you watch absent-mindedly. You just go in between all of your teeth and get all of that gunk out.
And you know, it's so interesting that you mentioned that particular one because I started buying that in the last 6 months or so, and my kids have been flossing regularly because of that, which is great. I still must say I prefer the old school
one.
What does healthy gums and healthy teeth actually look like?
Right. So that's a very good question, but I can't answer that without putting out a big disclaimer that everyone is very different.
Yes, of course.
Right? So generally, like healthy gums, we'd say they are pink, we'd say they are very thin, and we'd say that they are not like swollen. There's no sort of like
no inflammation.
No inflammation, right? People of color, we've got a different, just a variation of a pink sort of gum, right? And so ours are not going to look the same sort of like shade.
Okay.
However, it does not mean because it's not the exact same that it is unhealthy.
So that's good to know. Tell me about bleeding gums. Is bleeding gums a sign of an unhealthy... Okay.
So it's inflammation, right? So each and every, just like one of us, we've got what we call oral bacteria.
Okay.
Right? Very, very like natural within our teeth. And so every time after we eat, there is like food that stays within our mouth. Okay. So this bacteria actually feeds off of it. And so that's why we encourage everybody to brush their teeth. So that is just to take down that bacterial sort of like load. Yes. So if you don't, there is what we call a plaque that stays in your mouth, right? Yes. So it's like a wide sort of yeah, it's just like very white, very sticky, and it's on your teeth. And so if that stays on for too long, it actually irritates your gums.
Yes.
And so that is a sign of infected gums, bleeding.
How often should you brush your teeth?
So I always say twice a day.
Okay.
Every morning, so we spoke about bacteria, right, in our mouth. So as you go to bed, your mouth is closed the entire time.
Yes.
So that's why as you wake up, there's that like morning breath. It's actually from all that bacterial activity that has just taken place. So that's why we say every morning, brush your teeth. And then every night, because now you've eaten for the whole day, and we spoke that bacteria, it feeds off of that food. And so we simply encourage you to, at night, brush your teeth, just to take that all down.
Yes. What are the foods or drinks that are not good for our teeth? So as someone that loves coffee, for example, I know that coffee stains your teeth. And you can also see, I'm not a smoker, but with smokers, you can see the nicotine impacts, you know, the texture, the tone, the color of the teeth. What are some of the foods and drinks we should avoid?
So that's a very good question. So I will always say anything is allowed in just a moderation, right? So even your coffee, this is now not something that you do every day. And I know coffee can be so addictive, but I tell people that maybe just twice a week, right? And your wines, your red wines. So those are foods that actually stain. And your curries as well. But even over and above staining, so now we talk about there are certain foods that are just like, that have a more acidic sort of nature, right? So your cool drinks and your sweets, those are actually what I also call foods that should be taken in like smaller sort of like quantities, because those are acidic, and any sort of acid, it breaks down your tooth layer. And so that is actually what causes cavities. As well. So over and above staining, food can also cause cavities.
Okay, so everything in moderation.
Everything
I like that.
in moderation.
Before we end, tell me about toothbrushes. What is the right toothbrush to use, and what is the right way to brush your teeth?
So I'll always say go for a small sort of head, because a toothbrush, it should be able to touch every surface of your teeth. So for example, your top tooth that's right at the back, a toothbrush should be able to fit within your cheek and that just like small space, right? And so that is very important, the size. And also, as you just like mentioned, I think there's this misconception that if you scrub very hard, it's a little bit more clean. That is not true at all. So I always say your soft is your best bet. But then there's also the issue of the tongue. So some will say a soft doesn't actually get that tongue well. That's when I'll actually say you can have two.
Okay, one for your tongue and one for your teeth.
One for your teeth.
Exactly. I like that. Thank you so much. It was so lovely having you on the show. We hope that you got all the tools, the tips, the insights, and the techniques to maintain good oral hygiene and keep that smile shining, because as the saying goes, your best life begins with a smile.
Now, from sparkling teeth to starting your day on a sparkly note. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, mornings often become the battleground between hitting the snooze button for just a few more minutes of sleep or rushing to start the day's task. However, there's a simple yet powerful ritual that can transform your mornings from chaotic to serene. Joining us this afternoon is personal trainer and fitness expert TJ Pompetti, who will be taking us through a couple of stretches that you can do in the comfort of your own home and bed. Now, TJ, we all, this whole time we've been talking about starting your day on a high, but just making sure that, you know, you keep that sparkle in your life. How important then would it be to have a morning routine?
It's definitely important. So for me personally, if you've never done this before, but personally, when I wake up, it's important to get my stretch in, because it gives me that little boost, and that little boost is enough for me to actually get my foot on the ground. And once my foot is on the ground, then I'm just like, let's get it, and I'm ready for the day.
Because there's nothing quite like that morning stretch. Right? You've just woken up, and even just first that, with that yawn, it sort of gets you going. What does your morning routine look like?
Wake up, check my emails. For me, I'm wired this way. So when I check my emails, I know that there's work to be done. And immediately after that, I get into a quick stretch and get out of bed, and I'm ready for the day.
Okay, let's talk about quick stretch. Can you show us some of those quick stretches that we can do?
So simply, while you're waking up, this is a natural position. You're in this position. This is called a cobra pose. So pelvic on the ground, and you're pushing up. All right, so all you do is just push. You hold it there for like 15 seconds. All right. Then after that, immediately you go on your back, but we can't go on our back right now. But then immediately after that, we can go into a child's pose. All right, so pushing all the way back, getting that stretch. Ooh. All right, so the stretches out your lats, your shoulders, your lower back, and everything should wake you up slightly.
I actually can feel that because I'm feeling the stretch in my lower back.
Yeah.
And if I think about it, this one actually stretches more like my abs and my forearms.
Exactly.
Whereas the other one stretches my back. So it actually is waking the body up before I even
It is waking the body up.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So this is just, I mean, guys, imagine you're still on your bed. You don't even need to touch down on the ground yet. You're still on your bed.
So from this position, all you do is you just get up on your knees, even just sitting down on your back of the legs, all right? All you do is just grab your neck, pull all the way down. At the same time, you're stretching your quads, and at the same time, you're stretching your neck, all right? So you pull it again.
I feel like this is quite a neglected part of our bodies whenever we do stretches, because everyone will focus on their arms, their chest, everything else, but not the neck. Yep. And funny enough, that's where a lot of the tension I've heard lies.
Exactly, that's true.
Okay, cool. I'm feeling that. It feels like a lot of us want to go for massages, but this could be like an at-home massage that one can do for themselves.
So the key to actually feeling getting the most out of this stretch is dropping the shoulder down and just try and pull. So do not resist and just completely drop it down.
So it extends I've seen some people also do this, so it sort of extends the stretch here, making sure. Interesting, okay.
All right, and straight up after that, what you want to do is stretch the shoulders in the same position. You can come up if you feel uncomfortable. Okay. Get your hands across your body and pull all the way.
I hope
Stretching
you guys are
the
doing
triceps, shoulders, and
I hope you guys are doing this with us because I'm already feeling alive and awake.
Yeah.
And this is towards the afternoon, the end of the day. So I can imagine if you're doing this in the morning, you sort of are getting the adrenaline going, your dopamine rush. It's sort of getting you set for the day before you even go too far.
Exactly. And then the next stretch is as soon as you get out of your bed, you get up on your feet. All you do is just hang down right here, reach for your toes as low as you can, and you just hold it right there.
The amazing thing about this is you see kids playing around doing this and we think it's just play, but it actually makes a difference because my lower back feels very stretched.
Yep.
And I also know we hold a lot of tension in our lower back as well.
Right.
Okay, cool. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. I wake up in the morning. I start with the cobra pose, right?
Start with the cobra pose.
And that's the one where we're stretching. Can I do all of them?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Cool. So make sure my form is right. So I'm on my, what do we call this?
On your pelvic.
On my pelvic area, just making sure, stretching with my arms. So my arms remain straight.
Exactly. And chin up.
Chin up. Okay.
And immediately after that, we go down into a cobra pose.
Into a?
Cobra pose. Sorry, child's pose. Yes, that's the one.
Okay, cool. Right. So this is working the entire body of notice. So we went from cobra pose,
to child's pose.
Into child pose, then moved on to our knees and our back, and then we went into our neck pose.
Pulling all the way down, drop the shoulder.
Okay.
Make sure it hangs, and you're pulling.
And you're pulling. So you need to do both sides, obviously, to ensure that there's a balance there.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh.
And then next up, you just arms across your body, pulling all the way.
Okay.
And just holding it right there.
And this actually stretches not only my arm, I feel it, like you said, the lat from the back. So it's quite an intense stretch. Perfect. Okay,
and of course, the final one, we're just reaching down, stretching those hamstrings.
Hamstrings, lower back. I think I'm wide awake now. I doubt if I'm going to go home now because you've literally just woken up every single sense in my body. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
So next time that alarm rings, remember not to snooze it. Consider embracing this morning stretch just because it might be the key to unlocking your best day yet. Now, up next, Dr. Justin Cohen is giving you tips on how to start your day on the right foot.
Welcome back. Starting your day off right can significantly impact your mood, your energy levels, and your overall well-being. By incorporating a few simple habits into your morning routine, you can set a positive tone for the rest of your day. Dr. J is back to give us practical tips to help you kickstart your day on a positive note. So I want to acknowledge this, Dr. J, is that we should know that it's okay that sometimes we wake up maybe continuously not feeling okay. Because that needs to be normalized, that people do go through that, right?
Yeah, so awareness is the first step. How am I feeling? Now, when you identify that maybe I'm not feeling okay, ironically, sometimes the best way to feel a little better is to say it's okay not to be okay. When you say, I'm not okay, I need to be feeling amazing, you then can create this resistance to how you're feeling, which actually can create more suffering.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, and listen, sometimes you've got a good reason. You know, something happened yesterday. You lost your partner or your job or and you've got to actually, you know, all emotions have a reason, right? Maybe this is the time when you need to reflect on what has happened so that you can figure things out, right? So absolutely, it's okay not to be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I want to know what those steps are.
Well,
so you spoke about ACT.
Yeah, and see, let's just distinguish here between sometimes you're not okay because something's happened in your life and you need to process that. Sometimes you just didn't sleep as well as you could have, or you woke, you know, we often wake up. I know I've woken up with anxiety.
Yeah.
What is that being driven by? Adrenaline and cortisol, because the body is trying to wake you up so that you can go and fight or flight. Think of our caveman ancestors. They needed to get up there and go and, you know, hunt down that lion, right? So you've got all this adrenaline and cortisol, and it actually wants you to move. Right. But let's just go back to our little acronym, which is ACT, right? So the first is awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. The C is for choice. Right? We don't choose everything that happens to us, right? Maybe that, you know, the night that wasn't so great was because the neighbor was making a noise. Okay, you didn't choose that. You do get to choose your response. So what are you going to do differently, right? The T is for thought. Now, Z, this is probably the most important insight that we have in how we change our emotional states. And essentially it's this. Your thoughts determine your emotions. You think negative, pessimistic thoughts, you're going to feel depressed and anxious. Think positive, upbeat thoughts, you're going to feel a whole lot better. So thought determines how we feel. And I'm going to give you a little ritual because the fourth is ACT, right? So what are we going to do with what we know? So J.B. Fogg is a wonderful professor at Stanford University, and he has demonstrated the power of micro habits, many habits that are under a minute. You can significantly shift your state and ultimately your life. And there's a beautiful early morning ritual that has been well tested at Stanford University, and it's this. What do you say to yourself when you wake up in the morning?
I'm going to have a great day.
Exactly. Give me five, baby. Exactly, right? And that's J.B. Fogg. I'm going to have a great day. Now, if you think about it, what a lot of people saying is, oh, no, it's another Monday morning. Oh, bubblers. So what are you doing is you're reinforcing that negative state, right? As long as you tell yourself, again, if there's something really significant going in your life that you might need to reflect on, that's fine. We don't want to push that away. But if it's just that kind of garden variety, sort of a little bit of low mood, you can shift that mood. And he's found, yes, with that one thing. Now, the point about this is it's got to become a habit. Now, we want to link it to something that you're already doing. So it might be when I put my feet on the ground, getting out of bed, put my feet on the ground, I'm going to say, it's going to be a great day, right?
Okay.
Or as I turn off the alarm, I'm going to say, it's going to be a great day. We need to link the habit. We shrink the habit, we make it really small, and we link it to something that we're already doing.
I love that. Yeah.
And what he's found is that when people do this, it has this beautiful ripple effect through their lives, right? That just starting with that one beautiful micro habit leads to this positive wave through the day and ultimately for many people through their lives.
Absolutely. You know, I learned when I was at school this little hack, and I'd love you to try this at home. If you close your eyes and you acknowledge your heart center and you smile, you automatically feel good.
Exactly.
And that really happens in real time. You feel good.
Yeah. Well, there's a feedback loop in the brain, right? So when we're happy, we smile. But when we smile, we feel happy.
Yes, exactly.
When you smile more, your brain goes, if you're smiling, you're feeling good, and it creates that internal state.
Okay, tell me about stretching. That's a big thing as well, right?
So remember, you're waking up in the morning.
Because I know you're huge when it comes to movement.
Absolutely.
I always see Justin exercising. Whenever I see him out in public, he's exercising, he's moving his body.
And the truth is, I do it more for my mind than my body. You know, people think, oh, you exercise to lose weight or you exercise to be fit. Yes, that's great. Even more so for your mind. In fact, research is now showing the power of movement on depression and anxiety. Unbelievable results. Rats who exercise on a treadmill double their serotonin level. We boost serotonin when we move. Now, there's another neurotransmitter that's adrenaline. Now, adrenaline, when you're feeling a little anxious, you've got adrenaline pumping. So what do you need to do? Once again, get physical, because the adrenaline is about fight or flight, but when you exercise, you give your body a substitute fight or flight response. The adrenaline is absorbed from the blood into the muscles, and that's why you always feel calmer after a workout. So you're absolutely right. I started off today, and it has been a big week, having just got back from Africa Burn, and I woke up this morning, and I'm like, woo, here we go. But I can tell you the moment I did my 30 minutes, a high-intensity workout. By the way, you can do this on YouTube. It's 30 minutes. It costs you nothing, and it's going to be the best stretch cardio workout that you get. Afterwards, you're going to have less adrenaline, you're going to have more serotonin, and you're going to feel that much better. So that ritual is absolute power.
Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. We have natural pharmacies within us. Thank you so much, Dr. J. Remember that we all have those days where we don't feel so good, but with just a few mindful practices, you can turn things around and start your day positively. Later on, Tumi and Jay are going to make a scrumptious muesli bar. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So whether you are an early bird who makes breakfast on the go or a night owl that likes to plan their meals the night before, these grab-and-go muesli bars are sure to keep anyone on track. Guys, they look absolutely yummy. They do.
They do, Z. And you know what? I'm so excited because I have a lot of my favorite ingredients here, and I know you're going to really love some of these. Too. And I've got a feeling our guts are going to be really happy with us after this.
Our microbiomes are happy.
Okay, great. So I'm going to start us off, and Tumi, you're going to be making the wet side of things. Okay. So let's start on the dry quickly. So I've got the ground almonds that I've toasted. Again, bringing out those nutty notes. You can really smell that coming off of here.
Can I ask you a question? What is the difference between that and almond flour?
It's exactly the same.
Okay, cool.
So it's exactly the same thing, just toasted in a dry pan, just to bring out that nuttiness, in with some cocoa powder. And I like to start with the sort of powdery ingredients first and get that evenly distributed before we move on. So, wow, are you guys ready for this?
Fred, in cases like this, when you're going to be adding ingredients like this, would you need to sift it? Obviously not the flour.
No. These are bars. They're chunky, they're rustic, on the go, fast, easy. So you can skip those steps.
They're meant to have all those like nutty textures.
So I've also added some cinnamon just for an extra bit of flavor. We've got some muesli. Of course, these are muesli bars. I'm going to reserve about a third of them for the top when we actually assemble them. Some almond flakes.
Oh, these are all my magic ingredients.
It's going to get even better. We've got some flax seeds. Right, we've got pumpkin seeds. Sorry.
Wow, lots of fiber.
Sunflower seeds. There we go.
Yes.
We've got some chia seeds. And we've
antioxidants.
We've got some whole almonds that we've chopped up.
Love this.
Love this. And then, these are some of my favorites. Currants. And I think because it's giving me Christmas vibes.
Okay.
So currants. And I love this because we're using a lot of natural sweeteners.
Yes.
So we've got some prunes.
Once again, good for the gut. This sounds all healthy, guys. And sounds like a magic bar.
Yeah, you've mentioned the fact that that's natural sweetness. These are great for lunch boxes for the kids because they always want that sweet element.
Absolutely.
So try and make sure that if you're not giving them those processed items, this is a great addition.
For sure. And 15 minutes is what it will take?
It's what it will take.
Okay, I like that.
So I've just gone and added some, let me just see what I've added here. I've got some dried cranberries and then we've got some dates because dates are just stunning for me. And then we're going to give this a quick stir. And the reason why I prefer to mix all the dry before we get onto the wet, because it's all about the ratios here.
Okay.
So I like to give this a stir because some of these ingredients have a bit of moisture in them. So it sort of gives you an indication of how much of the wetness you're going to need to bring it together. Okay, so giving it a stir, isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah, that looks amazing.
You could use this, sprinkle it over some yogurt.
Yogurt, absolutely.
So this is such a versatile recipe, which is what I love. Now, to me, you've got some of my other favorite ingredients.
Yes, you know, because like we said, we want to make sure that we keep this because it's the first thing you have in the morning, or it's something you're going to snack on. You don't want that spike with
your blood sugar.
Yes, you don't want that spike. So it's something that you can definitely use well. So we've got some nut butters in here to give us that creaminess and that texture there. So any nut butter would work. I know some people like that macadamia nut, some people like almond nut, even peanut butter would work in this case.
What is that?
This is just an almond.
Almond looks like mushy banana.
I know. In fact, maybe that could be an idea as well to add as
a nice ingredient.
A nice
and that's one.
And this is we're going in with some tahini. If you don't know what tahini is, it's just basically sesame paste.
Yeah, it's basically ground sesames ground into a paste.
Yeah.
Great, savory, sweet. Love it.
Yeah. In this instance, I would probably also add some salt because I like the balance of salt.
Nice.
But let's just go in with our honey here.
Okay.
And obviously, we always talk about how some things are interchangeable.
Yes.
We wouldn't want to use maple syrup here because it's too runny. So we're fine with the honey because of the thick consistency, the viscosity, they say, of a sauce. So in this instance, we rather do choose a thicker liquid that binds everything together.
Okay.
I'm just going to stir this through with the whisk.
One thing you're missing to me. A little bit of apple juice.
Yes, because I do need to loosen this up slightly because we also don't want it to be overly thick because it has to mix in with everything. So I'm just going to go in there with a bit of apple juice. Ideally, apple juice would be the choice of juice to use here, but some people might say, I want to use orange juice, I'm saying
juice.
Keep the flavor of this because we also want to maintain that apple flavor in this. And I'm just going to whisk it together so it still comes together, but is also not too runny. Jay, you want to give me a couple of seconds? Let me just get that apple juice in there because I also don't want to add it while it's too runny because it'll then make everything too soft.
Okay.
We don't want it. Okay, let's just add it for you.
There we go.
We're there. And then from here, it's literally just making sure that it's nice and evenly distributed. My goodness, it smells incredible.
Divine.
It smells absolutely incredible, and you can see that it's not too wet and not too dry. It's that perfect consistency that we're looking for.
And we're going to bake that.
No, we're not. We're going to set it in the fridge. And there you have it. So
and that's it. Voila, simple as that.
Simple.
How long in the fridge?
That.
Look, I mean, at this point, once you've set it, give it about at least an hour minimum so that you can make sure that it's up to your standard. Can I steal a piece?
Yes, of course.
Because, I mean, this for me.
May I as well?
And because we didn't add too much of that liquid, it's not mushy, but it's nice and bound together and still crunchy from the nuts.
And because it's no bake, I've literally had a taste of it without setting it in the fridge.
Yeah.
And it's
delicious. Good to go.
Good to go.
I love that. If you want this recipe, all you have to do is go to afternoonexpress.co.za, my saliva glands are gushing, and get yourself one step closer to a blissful morning. So we've had an absolutely great show, but before we say goodbye, I'd like to know from you guys quickly, what is the first thing you do in the morning? That's our social media question.
Definitely ice cold glass of water.
Good.
For me, I wake up and say thank you that I've seen another day.
Oh, gratitude. That's beautiful. Timmy and Jay, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Love that. It's been an absolutely wonderful show. But before we say goodbye, I want to encourage you to go and vote on the 29th of May. Voting is your chance to stand up for the issues that you care about. So go out and vote. And if you've missed anything today, remember to catch the repeat on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Goodbye, stay safe, and we will see you next week, Tuesday.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolax range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.
Nada. Feel Good production.